Hello guys, my name is David once again. Welcome to US Home Buyers Network. For those of you who don't know me, as I said, my name is David. I am a realtor and my passion is to help people like you, home buyers or investors, to make informed decision when it comes to buying properties here in the US. Now, this video today is going to talk about why you should invest in 4-unit apartment buildings, and here I have 4 reasons why it's important to consider this type of an investment. So let's break it down. Number 1, house hacking advantage. Investing in a 4-unit apartment building provides you an opportunity to house hack. What does that really mean? Simply put it, it's a 4-unit apartment building. You live in one unit and then you rent the rest. So this will provide you an opportunity to pay off mortgages without a struggle, because you're buying this 4-unit apartment building, you're living in one of the unit and then you are renting the 3. And in some other cases, you don't have to tell the government that you don't live in one of the 4 units. You can rent all the 4 units. You know what I mean? So another thing is that cash flow potential. These type of properties, most of the times, if you buy them right in the good location, you will have positive cash flow every month, and I'm gonna break it down to you later on this video. And then another thing is financial benefits. 4-unit apartment buildings are considered residential properties by lenders. Most lenders, I think all lenders, they consider it residential. So when you consider buying such an investment, the bank or the lender, they're gonna lend you with those fair programs like FHA. You're gonna go with FHA, so you can qualify for zero down payment program for such a property. Guess what? That is something that is really cool, because you take advantage of the 4 units, where else you could have bought one single family home, maybe a 4-bedroom. You live in that house maybe alone and you pay the whole mortgage alone. Or rather, you could still house hack. You share the rooms with other people, you get passive income from those rooms, which is mostly like the same thing. So with the 4-unit apartment building, it has financial benefits. The lenders are gonna use HA if you do not want to go conventional, and actually you can still go conventional with 4-unit apartment buildings. Moving on swiftly, the last one is scaling your portfolio. Now, these 4 are the major ones. I do not mean that these are the only ones. There are still more reasons why you should invest in this type of an investment, but because of time, I don't want to go through all of them. Scaling your portfolio. It is very easy for you to scale your business once you start investing in this 4-unit apartment building. Once you start investing in such opportunities, you become the landlord, you become the property managers. Now you are managing 4 units. So if you want to buy a 10-unit apartment building, already you have the property management experience. So this helps you a big deal, because you will learn all those skills you need if you wanted to scale this type of business. Now, there are a few terms that everybody needs to know if you're considering this investment avenue. Remember, the 4-unit apartment buildings falls under the category of buy and hold. These are investments that you're buying for long term. You're not looking for any short-term gain. Now, there are a few definitions here that I would like you to know to help you, because if you do not know this, you won't really be making a good decision, because these are the basics. If you want to be killing this deal, you have to understand this. So number 1 is there's something called the gross potential income. Now, what is the gross potential income? As the name sounds, it is the maximum possible income that you can get on this property if it was 100% occupied. For instance, if it's a 4-unit apartment building, let's say the 4 units are 2-bedroom each, so you have 2 bedrooms. Assuming every room you're getting $1,500 every month, so in a good month you should be netting $6,000. So if you make $6,000 from such an investment, we call that gross potential income. It is the income you could make if that property was 100% occupied. Let's go down. Gross effective income. Now, this is the most important one, because this is the reality, and I've written it here. It's the realistic number. So if this number factors in the vacancy rate, it also factors in other incomes from that investment. For instance, if you have a shared laundry that you are charging, people are using that laundry, all people are using the same laundry, you are charging them, such incomes from that laundry, it will be added to the gross potential income. So gross effective income, it is simply the gross effective income is simply gross potential income less vacancy loss or credit losses, in addition to all other type of incomes from that property. We use gross effective income to determine the net operating income of that property, which is our next definition. How do you get net operating income? Net operating income, as I've said, is gross effective income less operating expenses. Now, what are operating expenses? Remember, mortgages and interest rates are not part of the operating expenses. Operating expenses, these are expenses incurred when you are running your business. This one include property taxes, insurance, repairs, all types of maintenances that you do on that property. They form part of the operating expenses. Now, this boils down to something called capitalization rate. Now, if you want to invest in these types of properties, you have to understand capitalization rate. Capitalization rate is a metric used in real estate to determine the rate of return on your investment. It is a metric used to determine the rate of return on your investment. All types of investment you can, largely in real estate. Now, capitalization rate is calculated by net operating income, which you've gotten from gross effective income less operating expenses, and it's always annual. That rate you divide by the purchase price of that property or the property value. For instance, if you found a property on the internet, maybe when you are searching, you found a 4-unit apartment building. Let's say, for example, it has a gross effective income of 60,000, and now that property, let's say it has a net operating income of 20,000. So it has operating expenses of 20,000. So your net operating income in that case will be 40,000. So we'll use 40,000 as the net operating income. We divide, assuming that property maybe is worth 800,000. We divide that by 800,000. We multiply by 100 because it's a rate. We get the capitalization rate. Normally, an average capitalization rate that is good here in Washington, average is 6%. If it's higher than 6%, you're good. If it's lower, so it's important for you to understand that. Once you know that, let me now take you into how you identify these types of deals. So I'm gonna go on my computer. There is a software or a website called loopnet.com. Loopnet is one of those sites that you'll find multi-family buildings. You'll find those multi-family apartment buildings that you can invest in. So if you're wondering where you can find these properties, you can talk to us brokers. We have access to all those. But if you want to look for those properties, do all these numbers by yourself before you even contact me to help you buy the property. Go to loopnet.com. You can find all those properties there. They have different filters. You can filter and get whatever. You can narrow down to all the types of properties you are looking for. So let's go to this computer and let me show you how you can actually find such a property. I'm gonna explain all the nuances as we continue. Let me know what you think in my comment section after this video is done. So make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel and follow me on TikTok to get more of these videos. Thank you.